It's me. You guys just call me back when you have a chance. Bye.
What were you talking to Nikki about before your wife got home?
Before she got home?
You talked for like several hours.
I think our day, we talked a lot. Just conversations, and just random conversations. We talk a lot.
Does Nikki know about any of this? Seriously?
Well, she doesn't know, like, I mean, she knows, like, from the news and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Did you share with her anything? Does she know your wife was pregnant?
She does now, and I told her that.
She didn't know at the time? How come you didn't tell her?
So I was scared too. Felt like, you know, like she wouldn't even like gone on a date with me, and she knew that. So it was...
Did she know you were married with kids?
Yes.
Okay, but just not pregnant?
Yes. I told her that, you know, like we actively tried before we met.
Oh, try to get pregnant. Okay.
So she knew that.
You can imagine that when we go talk to people going forward, everyone's going to try to distance themselves from any of this.
Yes.
And so if what's going to happen when Nikki says, no, it was our plan to kill everyone and run off together?
She's not going to say that.
Okay.
We were going to talk to her.
Absolutely.
We have to.
So can we get ahead of that for you? Can we get all of that out right now? I mean, so are you sure she's not going to say, oh, I kind of knew he was going to kill him?
No.
She's not going to say that?
No.
Okay. And she's not going to say, boy, we were making plans about buying a house or an apartment. She going to say that?
No, like,
You and Nikki?
like, once I had my own place, like, we could, you know, like, hang out more.
Okay. So after the separation, after that dust settled, then you would have availability to go see Nikki. You guys had talks like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, she generally liked me.
Okay.
Please don't put her name out there in the news, though. She's been through enough in her life now.
Stuff like that we never try to put out.
But I'm just know, like, the press, if they got them an affair, they would drag her through the mud. I don't want that.
Yeah. We're certainly not going to try to make that happen.
It's vulnerable on any of this, of course.
We do need to do one quick thing. Now that we know what we know, we're going to, I need to check that you don't have any weapons on you or anything like that. Do you have any weapons on you?
No.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll go to the bathroom. I'm not going to go in the stall with you, but I'm going to go with you. And then we'll come right back here and we'll make a decision about how the rest of the night goes. All right, so you might stand it up so I can check it.
Leave this in there?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that way. There you go.
Take a red. Just for everyone's protection, I'm going to leave that recording.
Okay. Glasses?
Yes. What's that?
I want them wherever they're at. Like, I have no inclination of where they're at right now. Like, I've exhausted like every friend that I know of, and every friend that I have has called friends that Shanann has that maybe I didn't know about, and it's just like it's like it was vanished. Like she's not, like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like she wasn't here. Kids weren't here. I have no idea like where they went. Yes, well, I texted her a few times and called her. I didn't get a response, which that was a little off. And then her friend Nicole showed up about a little after noon. I could see it on the doorbell camera. And I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I can't get a hold of Shanann. And that's when I was just like, all right, something's not right. If she's not answering the door, and she said the car was here, it's like, I gotta go home. And we got here, got inside, and nobody was here. Nothing. Bella was going to start kindergarten next Monday, and they were just getting ready to start back again. She was here at the front door, and that's when I kind of knew, okay, like if she's not answering anybody else either, this isn't like her, because I mean she works at direct sales business, and that's what she does. And for her not to respond to any of her people, if she doesn't respond to me, that's fine. I mean, like, she's busy, she's got stuff going on. But not to respond to her people, though, that was not like her. It's like I was trying to get home as fast as I can. I was blowing through stoplights, I was blowing through everything, just trying to get home as fast as I can, because none of this made sense. Like, if she wasn't here, like, where did she go? Like, once I got here, it was like, all right, who can I call? Who do I know that she could be with right now? If she went to a friend's house, where could she be staying? And we went through everybody. I mean, just everything in my contact list and her friend's contact list, and nothing has come up. Everybody has said, like, they haven't heard from her either. I'm just hoping right now that she's somewhere safe, and maybe she's there. But right now it's just like, if she's vanished, like, I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. I mean, everybody's gonna have their own opinion on anything like this. I just want people to know that I want my family back. Like, I want them safe, and I want them here. Like, this house is not the same. I mean, last night was traumatic. Last night was, I can't really stay in this house again, like, with nobody here. Last night, I wanted that knock on the door. I wanted to see those kids run in, just barrel rush me and just give me a hug and knock me on the ground. But that didn't happen. And then if something develops in the next hours or so, like, I'm hoping that somebody sees something or somebody knows something and comes forward.
What's the hardest part of all of this for you?
Not knowing, like, if they're safe or if they're in trouble. Like, there's just that variable, like, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't do anything right now from where I'm at. Like, I'm not sure if they're safe somewhere, just huddled up somewhere, or if they're in trouble. And knowing that if they could be in trouble, it's earth-shattering right now, and it doesn't feel like it's real.
Chris, go and stand up for me. I'm going to have you face that wall over there. Yep, just face it. Lift up your hands. Okay, go and face this wall. go and face me. Okay, you don't have anything on you, right? Okay, nothing in your pockets? Okay, go ahead and face that other wall behind you. I'm just going to search you real quick. Spread your legs. Further. Okay, turn around and face me. No earrings, necklaces, anything like that? Okay. Let's walk out this way. Go straight. Go out that door to your left. Have a seat.
Were all the doors around the house locked?
Front door was locked. The garage door was unlocked, but that's normal for, like, when she comes in the house, she leaves it unlocked just so she can come in and out just in case, you know, to get in the garage door, but the back sliding door was locked as well. She got home really late, about 2 a.m. from the airport when she got back from Arizona.
Did you wake up and say, you know?
No, I saw her when she got in, but it was really quick just because it was 2 a.m. in the morning. But I saw the kids in the monitor before I left, and that was it.
What kind of efforts are happening right now, Chris, to find them?
Right now in Frederick Police Department, they've been on point. With the officers, detectives, sergeants, K-9 units here, they're getting sense. So hopefully they can pick up something and kind of go in a direction that will actually lead us to where maybe they're at right now.
And?
Shanann went to, where'd you get that shirt?
Oh, this is I think she got it off Amazon, but this is my favorite college sports team.
Wasn't she just there?
She was just in North Carolina. Yep. So she actually probably got it from there. Usually she gets stuff from Amazon, but this one, I like these shirts a lot.
You guys, you love your girls. Describe your little girls to us, and you know.
So Celeste, she's just a ball of energy. Call her Rampage, because she's just always, she's got 2 speeds, go or she's sleeping. And she's always a troublemaker. She's always the one like jumping off things, you know, just yelling at you and all kinds of things. And Bella, she's the more calm, cautious, mothering type. And she's more like me. She's more calm. But Celeste has definitely got her mom's personality to where she's always just gung-ho, ready to go.
You guys have a baby on the way.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to have a third child.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of going through your mind right now too?
That's why I want everybody back. That's why I need everybody back here. I need everybody safe.
I think I'm good.
Test myself in 158, was suspicious. Control.
Frederick PD, 1 cooperative male.
Go. Thank you for everything.
Go and step out. You go that big blue door right there. Stand in front of it. Yes, sir. You can go in and have a seat on your left, okay? I don't have the questionnaire done.
Okay, that's
You guys have a different questionnaire?
This doesn't have a questionnaire.
Good evening. Good evening.
Robert, probably anything for you to return.
So you guys know.
Sure.
Appreciate the heads up. So I would say, that's high risk right there.
We've been watching this.
Is that all I need? Or is there another one idea? Did you guys change it?
No, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
That's okay.
So, it didn't used to look like
We
that.
changed that like 8-10 months ago. Have you been gone for a while? That's been 8 to 10 months. It's gonna be. It's been close, because it was real shortly after I started down there. So that was 10 months, that was 9 months ago. I've taken a picture of seniors. I find myself whistling all the time while I do bookings. Yeah. And it kind of changed me to realize that I do anything like this. Got any money on you?
Martina Booth doesn't work.
Only one at a time. It's convenient. Yeah. Always best to your role. What shoes you wear? Oh. How old are you? 5'10". Thank you. Feeling suicidal today? No? Ever attempted suicide? Ever been on a suicide watch anywhere? Need medical attention for anything at this very moment? Any head injuries, car accidents, hospitalization? Are you sick at all? Any drugs or alcohol in you? Been to jail before? Okay, if you need to see medical or mental health staff at any point, you let us know, okay? You get 2 fingerprints from me at the moment, right hand. And left. Big part. Difference there. You got anything on your property? Should go to jail. Anything at all on your property? I'm assuming. Why would they want to kill us private? I'm assuming I prefer to attend because it's Mondays. It's a really bad day when you take the sheriff's somewhere away from him. Really bad.
You got to do things on you anywhere that I can't see?
No, you should get on that gun a little sooner. Well, if you think about it, we've been tested through for patrol.
White sandwich.
That's still changing, right? So.
I appreciate it.
We think we talk between the platforms?
A lot of people get through. Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, okay, think of that.
Quicker. Be a quicker cabin.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You got just one pair of shorts on? Yeah, good. Just one pair of shorts. Prescription?
It's all right.
Interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, keep your hands on the bar, step your feet back just a little bit for me, and separate them a little bit more. Lift up your feet so I can see the bottom of them. And the other one. Yes, clear your feet. Inside your mouth. Okay, lift your tongue.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
Mr. Watts, did you confess?
This matter comes on for a first appearance. Mr. Warren, correct me if I'm wrong, but formal charges have not been filed yet?
That's correct, Your Honor. The defendant was arrested. Formal charges have not been filed. On my calculation, I believe it will be due to the court at 3:30 on Monday afternoon.
Thank you. Mr. Mercer, anything you would like to say about that?
Not regarding that issue, thank you.
So the court has reviewed a affidavit in support of a warrantless arrest. The court has found probable cause for the arrest. Specifically, I see that Mr. Watts was arrested for 3 counts of first-degree murder, each a Class 1 felony, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body, each a Class 3 felony. Again, these are only charges that are named in the affidavit in support of a warrantless arrest. It's the district attorney's office who will ultimately decide what charges, if any, are going to be filed. And Mr. Merson, would you like me to advise your client of his rights pursuant to Rule 5?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, Mr. Watts, I would like you to listen carefully to the rights that you have, okay? And so first, you don't need to make any statements. Any statements you make can and may be used against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to counsel. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you are indigent, you have the right to request the appointment of counsel or consult with a public defender before any further proceedings are held. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Merson is the head of the Public Defender's Office, and he is going to represent you today and potentially in the future. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any plea that you make must be made voluntarily and not the result of undue influence or coercion. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Right now, charges have not been filed, so this is a limited advisement. I intend to bring you back next week once formal charges are filed on Monday, so I can give you a full advisement. But I will tell you that at this point, the court is not authorizing any bail. Once I know what the official charges are that are filed by the district attorney's office, I'll inform you the nature of the charges. If charges are filed, you have the right to a jury trial, and you have the right to demand and receive a preliminary hearing within a reasonable time to determine whether probable cause exists to believe that you committed any of the charges that are filed by the district attorney's office. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I believe that your lawyer has filed about 16 or so motions on your behalf, including a request for a preliminary hearing. Do you agree, Mr. Merson, that that time period, that 35 days to have a preliminary hearing, doesn't begin until your client appears in court next week once formal charges are filed?
I agree.
And I have not seen, correct me if I'm wrong, a proof positive, presumptive great written motion by your office.
Not at this point, Judge.
Okay. Okay. And so would you like me to further advise your client of any additional rights?
No, thank you.
Mr. Rourke, what kind of conditions, if any, are you requesting for the protection order given the circumstances?
Judge, I'm going to defer to Mr. Wren.
Mr. Wren?
People are simply asking for the standard protection order under Title 18 at this point, given the deceased nature of the victims.
And I assume based on the no bond hold, the issue of possessing or having access to or control over a firearm or any ammunition is a non-issue until and if bond is authorized.
That's correct.
Thank you. So, Mr. Watts, I am going to issue a protection order pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 18-1-1001. It's going to state that you not harass, molest, intimidate, retaliate against any witness involved in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you were to violate the statutory protection order, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And could we talk about some of them? I realize that things are happening very quickly. Motions were filed today. There hasn't been a lot of time to object or to file responses. Mr. Merson has filed a number of motions, some of which potentially may be time sensitive. My intention is for the parties to come back to court next Tuesday so I could advise Mr. Watts of his formal charges that are filed no later than 3:30 on Monday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be requiring the prosecutor to file a response between now and Tuesday, or whether we can resolve some of these issues now. For example, the preservation of certain evidence, like police notes, handwritten notes, like touch DNA evidence, things of that nature.
Your Honor, I think we can address some of these pretty quickly, but certainly not all of them. We would be asking for time to file a written response to some of them.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the time that elapses between now and Tuesday, and I want to make sure that the evidence that's being requested to be preserved is preserved.
Understood.
So, for example, can you, any objection for me to order that all law enforcement, both state and federal, that were involved in this case, preserve their handwritten notes? Any objection to that?
No.
So I will grant that request. Did you read Mr. Merson's motion with regard to touch DNA?
I believe that was filed under seal, and I have not seen it.
It was suppressed, so they should have had access to it.
Gail, Christy, could you print out a copy for Mr. Wren? Again, I appreciate the fact that this happened very quickly, and so let me get you a copy of that, a hard copy of that. and then you can review it and let me know what your thoughts are. Is there an autopsy that's scheduled to be conducted in the near future?
Not yet.
Motion is that?
It was a
16.
16?
Yes.
And while we're waiting, Mr. Merson, I noticed that...
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge, it was D17.
D17?
Yeah, sorry.
So I see that your motions are numbered, but I'm missing 9 through 15.
Yeah, I basically counted them and then started off. There were some other people in my office that had filed those other pleadings and not numbered them.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing something.
I don't think you are. I think many of them many of them concern the media issue. On the way over here, the deputies advised the court had already ruled on that. So to a certain extent, some of that is moot. But if we are going to take a D17, in light of the fact that the affidavit is still sealed, I would ask that the court seal the courtroom and just allow the parties to argue that, because it will require me to talk about information in the affidavit.
Well, why don't we give Mr. Wren an opportunity and let me know whether, without talking about the substance, whether he has an objection or not. It's really more of putting the prosecution on notice than anything else. Why don't you read it first and let me know what you think. You can give it to the prosecution.
Steve.
Extra.
I might. It was one of the... So, I did add the house to this. So the D17 will have the house on it as well. And that's the gist of it. At this point, I'm concerned about whether or not the house is sealed off. It's not. It's been released from law enforcement. Okay. When was that? Late last night. Okay. All right. And because that part of the motion would be put at this point, mostly concerns what's in this motion. So, okay.
If I could take a moment to read. Yes.
Mr. Mercer, anything associated with Mr. Wren?
Thank you.
I'm okay with continuing it. I just don't want there to be any time-sensitive issues between now and next Tuesday that we should have handled today.
I think we need to address it today. As I indicated, Judge, at this point, there's not an autopsy scheduled or autopsies. I don't know when that might happen. I don't know if it would happen before Tuesday or not. With respect to this motion, and does the court want to address Mr. Merson's concerns about clearing the courtroom, given the sealed nature of this, or may I speak for you?
Well, it was I think it's based on the sealing of the affidavit in support of the warrantless arrest, and so it was your motion to seal. So if you think the reasons why you requested the affidavit to be sealed are going to be compromised, we could do this in camera. If you believe it's not, then we can talk about it publicly.
I'm not worried about the compromising nature of the affidavit. I will tell the court and make a record that the prosecution has provided Mr. Merson with a copy of the affidavit, despite the fact that it was sealed to the public.
I am concerned about this being discussed in a non-in-camera setting. My concerns revolve around the issues I brought up and the objections to expanded media coverage. It's an ongoing investigation at this point. I have concerns about, what would be discussed and how that would implicate Mr. Watts' right to a fair trial and his due process right. So my request is that the court seal the courtroom so we can discuss this.
Mr. Wren?
Leave that to the discretion of the court.
It seems to me, based on everything I've heard, that the affidavit is going to be released at some point. It was the prosecution who requested the sealing of the affidavit. They're not concerned about this being compromised, the investigation being compromised. And so I think we can talk about this publicly. Mr. Wren?
And when you say talk about this, are we still talking about
yes.
D17,
yes.
Which was also filed under seal?
Yes.
So with respect to paragraph number 3, Judge, our concerns relate to the way this is worded. As the court knows, the pathologist goes through a very extensive process when conducting an autopsy, much of which is governed by statute. I think most of what he's asking for is standard procedure for an autopsy conducted in this jurisdiction and would be done. However, I have concerns about the way this is phrased in that it orders collection of trace DNA and touch DNA from certain areas of bodies that at this point we don't even have, frankly. Second, we don't know if that trace DNA is going to even exist if we have the bodies. So there's no way to order us to find something that may or may not exist.
I think when I read the motion, it essentially is putting the prosecution on notice that at some point they may be in possession of exculpatory evidence, and it's their duty to make reasonable efforts to preserve that and ultimately provide that to the defense. And so I think they're on notice by the mere fact that we're talking about this, that Mr. Wren got a copy of the motion, and if this becomes an issue later on, we can litigate this, and there's some pretty significant sanctions for the destruction of exculpatory evidence. Okay, so that will be the ruling of the court.
Your Honor, may I ask one clarifying question? Because the way that the motion is titled talks about the collection of touch or trace DNA at 2825 Saratoga Trail as well as during the autopsy, but the body of the motion does not. I want to make sure that Mr. Merson is aware that the home where the homicides were alleged to have occurred has been released by law enforcement, was released as of about midnight last night. So even as we stand today, we are not in a position to be able to go back in and collect trace DNA from that home. So I just want to make clear that the ruling of the court does not require us to do anything affirmative with respect to the home.
And Mr. Wren advised me that the government is no longer in control of the home, so I'm aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With regard to the motion for protective order, essentially for nobody to speak to Mr. Watts other than his attorneys and investigators and support staff, I'm assuming there's no objection to that?
Correct.
You'll put law enforcement on notice on that issue?
Yes.
Okay. Any other time-sensitive issues that cannot wait until next Tuesday?
Nothing from the beginning.
Mr. Merson?
Can I just have 1 second?
Sure.
Nothing further. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, and I would just respectfully ask that if you file anything between now and next Tuesday, certainly into the future, if you go advise your office of this, if there's more than one lawyer working on it, please number every pleading that's filed, and for the prosecution as well, maybe you can use letters. And that way I know that I'm not missing something. That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see. Let's pick a time next Tuesday. I know everybody's really busy. I just had some time open up. And so what's a convenient time for everybody to be here? I'm also going to be asking if there's victim rights compliance today and see if there's a more convenient time for whoever the victim rights representative is.
You know, we have been in communication with the family of the victims. We are in VRA compliance for that, based on that effort. At this point, we don't have any specific times that are good or bad for the family, but we will certainly contact them as soon as we leave and clarify their availability for next Tuesday.
How about the attorneys? What's a good time for you to be here on Tuesday?
Anytime, Judge. I'll make it work.
The motion's hearing in Division 12 at 2 o'clock. That'll probably last an hour. Otherwise, I'm free.
About 10 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay. So the plan is next Tuesday, 10 o'clock, we're going to know whether the prosecution filed formal charges or not, and the deadline for that would be Monday at 3:30. I will give Mr. Watts a more detailed advisement, and then we'll decide what the next step is going to be. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, one more thing.
Yes.
I would just ask the court order that the prosecution give the defense notice as to if an autopsy is to be scheduled, when that is scheduled, so that we can file the appropriate motions. I think you can appreciate why we would want notice of that.
Yes. Any objection to that?
Not as to the notice issue.
Yeah, I'm not going to be ordering that they, at this point, I'm not ordering that they be allowed to be present during the autopsy. Why don't we say 48 hours notice? Is that reasonable?
Yes, and if I learn that information over the weekend, I'll email Mr. Mercer.
Okay with you, Mr. Mercer?
That's fine, thank you.
They wouldn't do the autopsy over the weekend, though, would they?
No, I don't believe so.
They would?
They're going to try to get it done soon. So 48 hours is probably not going to do it. Because they make their decision.
We've all certainly seen autopsies scheduled less than 48 hours after the bodies are recovered. So we will do our best to comply with the notice requirements as soon as we learn the information.
Who would be making the decision on when to perform an autopsy?
The coroner's office.
So can you communicate with them that there's an order that there would be 48 hours notice, and if they, for whatever reason, can't comply with that, you'll let Mr. Mercer know?
Is the court ordering that the autopsy not be conducted earlier than 48 hours after the recovery of the bodies?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I'm ordering that you notify the coroner that there's an order that Mr. Mercer is entitled to 48 hours notice, and if they are intending to perform the autopsy sooner than that, they need to let you know before it starts so you can give Mr. Mercer reasonable notice.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you can think of between now and next Tuesday that we can resolve today?
Nothing from the prosecution.
Nothing from the defense, thanks.
Okay. All right, we'll see you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.